Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share what has been things I've loved in May. So we have a mix of beauty, there's some journal stationery bits in there, and some style and a little bit of random stuff as well. So get cozy, make a cup of tea. I'm excited to jump into this. Okay, so let's start with stationery, as that seems to be what everyone has been enjoying at the moment. Thank you as well for everyone who left comments on my journaling video on how to journal, where you all left prompts for each other in the comments. I have loved reading that and I've added them all to my list. So I couldn't kick off my favorites video without starting with my July Rose Jewelry Charm. It is just so beautiful. So I have it on my A6. This is my Paper Republic A6 portfolio, which is literally with me every single day now. I love this so much and I cannot recommend it enough. It was in last month's favorites, but hey, it's still a favorite again, let's be real. But my July Rose Jewelry Charm, I'm going to bring it up to the screen so you can see it. It is just so beautiful, and I got mine inscribed with "Come What May" because I felt like that felt very accurate from where I'm at in my life right now and life in general. So that is my July Rose Jewelry Charm, which I have just been loving, and I'm just excited to see that patina and how it's going to age with time. And it's a nice little quote to come back to. So the next thing that is definitely a favorite for this month is I treated myself to a letter writing set. Now, yes, I have lots of paper, but there's something just lovely about A, receiving a letter, but B, receiving a beautiful letter made with beautiful stationery. And I've been thinking about this a lot recently. One of my really good friends I went to university with, he always used to say to me, "Harry, you should never feel guilty about spending money on good food." And I think the same goes for good quality stationery. Now look how beautiful this is. Oh my goodness, it's just so adorable. And I think this was like, I want to say like 35 bucks, which I feel like pretty good considering that you get 40 sheets of decorated writing paper and 40 envelopes, and you get 50 stickers and labels. So if you don't want to do like a wax seal, you can pop one of the stickers on. So like, for example, oh, they're just so beautiful. Like, look, these are the stickers it comes with, and you've got all these beautiful botanical kind of inspiration that is on the stickers. And then the paper, oh, the paper is so good. I've already sent several people letters. Like, these are some of the envelopes I have in here, and then this is kind of like palm leaf type envelope. And then when it comes to the writing paper, oh, I cannot tell you how excited I would be to receive a letter. Look at this. This is like the back of the paper. Isn't that just beautiful? So then you write on this side. Obviously, you could mix them up. So you have some letters with one side. If you're going to do a page 2, you can use, again, we've got the lovely kind of botanical prints, and then you write on the other side. Yeah, so you get 3 prints within them. And this is probably my favorite. It's all these beautiful plants, and it kind of tells you what they are, I believe. Yes, it does. It tells you what they are. And I just think it's so beautiful. And again, the paper just feels delicious to write on. It's so lovely. So that has definitely been a favorite. Letter writing in general, but also having a little set. And what I do is I keep some of the envelopes and some of the paper folded in half in my A5 Paper Republic journal. So when I'm out and about, if I want to write someone a letter, I have the paper with me. So if kind of the mood strikes, I can send someone a letter, and that's been really lovely. So the next favorite is the Le Petit 3 newspaper, which is a subscription I subscribe to. It's $9 a month, I believe, wherever you live in the world. I think that's right, and that includes the postage. And I've talked about this before in several of my journal and stationery videos, but it's just so exciting when this comes in the mail. So this is my second my second month of having it, and this month's theme was Sense and Sensibility, and sense in the sense of, how many times can I say sense? Perfume, and the history of scent and perfume houses and the meaning, like what scent invokes in people. So it's been really interesting. I've loved learning about the power of perfumery, like the sensuous somatic world via kind of fragrance as a way of exploring that. So I think I've shown this paper quite a few times now. This one I have started cutting out of it because I've already read all the articles in it. And the reason I'm loving this so much is, yes, it's another thing that just feels beautifully analog in terms of you don't get a tracking number, you don't know when it's going to arrive. And they always say, like, check your mailbox, not your inbox, which I love. But what I've been doing is cutting out pieces from the paper, and then I put them in this little clear pocket. I think this was from Cloth and Paper. And then I'm able to use them in my journal. So it's so nice having like beautiful imagery that I can stick as backgrounds in my journals, in my notebooks. I can, again, if I've read something in the paper that I want to keep. And everything in here is very much focused on creative living, which definitely feels like the things I'm drawn to most at this moment in my life. But yeah, I love that I have all these lovely pictures now to use in my journal. And when I see them in my journal, it just brings a lot of joy. So that is definitely another favorite. Okay, so let's move on to some beauty. Now I'm going to start with, following the paper, scents. And this perfume has been my go-to now. I don't think I've mentioned in a favorites video. I've had it for maybe 2-3 months. It is a perfume from Aesop. And if you haven't tried Aesop's perfumes, oh my goodness, they are so good. It's one of those perfume house, like, I know they're not a perfume house, but it's one of those brands that do perfumes really well. Obviously, if you like Aesop scents, you're probably going to like the perfume, the fragrance. And this one is Verrier. I'm going to hold it up to the screen so hopefully you can see how it's spelt. But I feel like the fragrance of this feels very green. It feels perfect for spring, and that it's very fresh. It's a little bit botanical, but in a way that just, I think Aesop makes such interesting scents as it is in any of their products. And I just feel like this has been my go-to kind of like fresh scent for spring and summer, like as we lead into summer. It feels very cooling. It never feels sickly. It has that kind of freshness that I really like, but still there is a greenness to it. Okay, so the next one is something I have used, I think, since it came out, at least the past like year or two. And when I tell you, I have to have a stick of this wherever I go, if I'm wearing a dress or something where my thighs are going to rub together, it's this. It's Mega Babe Thigh Rescue. So this is my travel stick. I actually just got this out my handbag, but they do a big one as well. And it looks like a deodorant, but it's basically an anti-friction stick. And I know some people will say, Harry, just use your deodorant. Doesn't work as well as this. I've tried, okay? So this, I just find that when I'm wearing, like I said, a dress, I definitely get the chafe. The chafe is real. And just popping this on the inside of my thighs, like I don't ever really even have to like top it up. The other thing I found this really helpful for is actually when I'm wearing a sports bra. I feel like once it starts to get really, really warm, I will get kind of like the rash underneath the boobage, the boob area, and just popping this on, it stops the friction between my sports bras when I'm like really sweaty if I'm doing a workout. So I have to mention it. It's a very practical beauty item. And again, if you found that wearing deodorant in those areas works for you, great, amazing. You probably don't need this. I've just found this to be far superior at preventing the friction. So yeah, Mega Babe Thigh Rescue, it's called. But like I said, I use it anywhere that you may experience the chafing. So beauty bits I've been loving, first of all, is this cream blush from Make Beauty. First of all, I love the packaging. I love the mixed metals of the gold and silver. And this is the shade Flushed. The stick is called Flushed. The shade is Heat Stroke, I believe. I think that's right. Or it might be the other way around. But this color, it's like that kind of perfect, it's not like too brown, it's not too pink, it's not too orange. It almost feels very neutral, kind of like there's a pinky brownness to it. But I love it. I am wearing it now, although I did put it on quite a while ago. And I find if I'm wearing this, I don't tend to need to add any kind of like glow to the top of my cheekbones. I love the Chanel multi-stick in sculpting, but if I'm wearing this, I find that's like a step I can skip. So I've really been loving that. And that's kind of been my go-to. And sometimes I'll put it on my lips as well. I feel like like you could probably put this on eyes as well and it would look nice. It doesn't say that it's a multi-purpose stick, but love the color, love the dewiness of it. And I love that it's sort of like a nice, it feels like a very good, goes with everything type shade on my skin tone. So the other favorite I've been loving, and this might seem a bit random because it's not technically a product, but it's wearing my toes, like having a pedicure, like a nude pedicure. And I don't mean with a polish, I mean literally having nothing on my feet at all, but just a pedicure where my feet look really clean, everything looks neat. And I'm going to insert a photo of my foot, which feels really weird to do. It's giving like OnlyFans vibes. But nonetheless, when I see my feet at the minute, I'm like, I'm really loving not wearing any nail polish. So that is a favorite, and it's quite random, but it's also great because I never have to think about, does that color go with this outfit? Oh, I've got something different on my hands. I need to change it up. Not that you have to change it up, obviously, but this is the way my brain thinks. So that is another beauty favorite. Okay, so moving on to style pieces. If you have been following me on Substack, this will come as no surprise to you. I had on my wish list, I have my traffic light system wish list that helps me make intentional purchases. It's in the No Buy Styling course. I had on my wish list that I really, really wanted one of the Acme silver brooches. And after a while, like again, the brilliant thing about my no buy year is that I had time to sit with things and be like, do I still want it after a year? And if I do, am I willing to pay X amount for it? Like, what would I feel comfortable parting ways with? And the Acme's brooches are beautiful. I can't deny it. I love Acme's jewelry. These earrings are by Acme's and I wear them all the time. However, a brooch is not an item I'm necessarily going to wear every day, or at least I didn't think I would. And as such, I decided, do you know what? I don't want to spend over $500 on a silver brooch. So I took to eBay and I've wrote a post about this on Substack about how to like win on eBay. But I picked up this brooch. It's the coolest thing and it just feels very Acme's inspired for $15. 15 whole dollars. And I thought maybe it would, I'd use it here and there. But when I say I have been wearing this with so many different things, it's been like the missing piece in my wardrobe in the best way. So I'll insert some images of me wearing it with different outfits, but I've been wearing this on kind of like strapless dresses as like a focal point in the middle. I've been wearing, like I said, on my blazers, on like lapels and like kind of where there's the kind of flap on the bit where it folds over the front of the blazer. I've worn this on t-shirt dresses. Like there are so many ways I've been wearing this and every time I wear it I feel so excited, especially because it cost me $15 and I love it and no one else has one the same, or maybe they do. Let me know if you have this one. But it was vintage and when I brought it, it had loads of tarnish on it. Now, a friend told me about this and while I have like very mixed thoughts on AI and ChatGPT, one thing that my friend told me to do when I was thinking about buying this, I was like, I wonder if the tarnishing would come out with my silver polish. She said to put a picture of it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, do you think the tarnishing will come off with silver polish? And ChatGPT said it would. ChatGPT was right. And bar the odd little bit here and there, I got most of it off. Like I'm totally happy with how it came out after using my silver polish. So I love this little piece of jewelry and I feel really excited that I have a silver brooch in my collection now, which definitely feels like it makes getting dressed just that thing when I don't know what to do. I just add that and I'm like, oh, my outfits feel very elevated. So the other thing that I would class as a favorite this month is a linen blazer that I thrifted, and I just seem to luck out when it comes to blazers. I feel like I attract really good quality blazers that are thrifted, and it's linen. It's a beautiful linen menswear piece. It was tailor-made. I looked at the brand and they literally are like a tailor-made brand. And what I love about it is the fact it's single-breasted and it's a little bit shorter. It's still boxy. It's still got that oversized feel, but not as drastic as some of my other pieces. And I love oversized, so that's just like, that's my jam. But I've been wearing this again with the brooch kind of like on. I'm like, look, even with this dress, like how cute would it look if I just wore it here? Oh, it's so good. I digress. But yes, this linen blazer has been like a really good piece for summer and spring summer. And what I love about it is it's the exact same shade as my Gap trousers. So when I wear it with my Gap trousers, it legit looks like a really cool linen suit. And I even thought like, oh, that would be a really good wedding outfit or like a special occasion where you don't want to wear a dress, like kind of doing it as a suit. So I've been very excited to find that piece, and that is one of the other styling pieces I've been really enjoying in my wardrobe. Okay, so I just checked my notes and I was looking through other favorites that I would describe as like not tangible things, but things that I think need to be mentioned, that have made a huge difference in my peace, my happiness, my feeling of contentment, should we say, recently. And something that has been a favorite is making less content. I think giving myself permission to just let this be a creative outlet, especially with YouTube again. Like when I started making the journal videos, it was so nice to make something that I'd want to watch. And I never want to make content for the sake of making content. Like there is enough content in the world. You guys don't need me making more things just for the sake of it. And I feel like now I'm in a place where if I don't have a video to make that I want to make, I'd rather not do one. So generally speaking, what you'll see here is I'm aiming to do roughly kind of like 2 YouTube videos a month. But again, if there's one that I just don't feel like needs to be made right now, or it's not feeling in alignment or organic to me, then I'm not going to make it. And it just feels so good. I took a really big break from Instagram last year. And once I did, I was like, yeah, I really don't miss it. I went back just to see as my mental health was kind of like in a better place, to see what it would be like. And within the space of like 2 months, I was like, no, this just isn't my space right now. Maybe it will change, but for me, I think I'm a long form girly. Like that's the content I like to consume. That's the content I want to make. And it just feels really good to be like, yeah, that's what I'm feeling called to do right now. So yeah, long form content has been a favorite. Making less, focusing on pieces that I really want to put out into the world has been a favorite. And if you've stuck around, I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful you're here and that you are following along. Okay, how many people can relate to having one less thing you have to charge being a favorite? So I've gone back to headphones with a wire. Again, it's so funny. Like I lost my AirPod Pros on a flight recently and I'm gutted. At least that's what I think they are. I can't find them anywhere at home. And they were really comfy, I won't lie. They definitely were better than normal AirPods. But rather than buying another like 300 pair of headphones, I was like, I'm going to get me a $10 one that fits in my phone. It has like the charging port as the connector. And yeah, I'm we're going back in time. I feel like these have been a game changer. Like I just love that they're always in my handbag. I don't have to worry about them being charged. And simple pleasures. So the book favorite I have read this month, what have I read? I read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, which I did love. I'm still processing it, so I want to kind of like have some time to like really evaluate how I feel about that book before I talk about it. And then what else did I read? I need to check my Notion list. But this was something I went into a bookshop recently and I was just like, I wasn't looking for a particular book. I like it when a book finds me. And as someone who loves journaling, I really love reading memoirs, especially from people from different periods of time. I just think there's something quite romantic about it, but it's also fascinating when you see women who were struggling with that concept of motherhood, of marriage, and really kind of unpacking whether they want it or not, and whether they feel like what that means if they don't want it, especially when you think back to times like 100 years ago where it was kind of presumed women would have children. So I read this book. I think I paid $3 for it in a used bookstore. It's Anne Murray Lindbergh, Bring Me a Unicorn. And she ended up marrying Charles Lindbergh of like their famous aviator. But this book, I feel like the best way I can describe it is sweet. And I know that might sound like that's the last thing I want to read, but I've been reading a lot of very heavy books recently. And I think when I'm reading a lot of heavy books, I need to balance out with something sweet. And this just felt like, again, I don't want to do any spoilers, but you know who she marries. It's no secret who she marries. But the build up to them being together is really kind of talked through in this book. And yeah, I found it was like a nice, easy to read. There was things. I'm always fascinated when I read memoirs from people from years and years ago, how it's like, look at the similarities, not the differences. So yeah, it was just a really lovely, sweet read. And normally, like I said, I'm not one for a sweet book. I like something that goes there. I like something that kind of makes me confront things. But there was still enough existential crisis in this to a point that I found it interesting, but still sweet, especially when you can see how much someone doubts themselves. I think that was something I could connect to. So I really enjoyed reading that. And like I said, that was a book that wasn't on my TBR list. I just saw it in a bookstore and read the back and was like, ooh, I feel like this would be a nice read. And it was. So I think that's everything. That is everything I have been loving in May. Let me know what you've been enjoying. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.